Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of Caught on the Mic. I am Michael Clark. It is Fight Week, Friday, March 14th, 2025 at the Astro Amphitheater in Omaha, Nebraska. Dynasty Combat Sports St. Showdown. And my next guest is going to be in a battle for the amateur Bantamweight title. Tucker Charron trains out of Premier Combat Center in Omaha, Nebraska, and there's a little bit of a funny story about how Tucker ended up on the show. The last event that I was calling in Omaha at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena, I'm sitting next to my friend Caleb. We're calling the fights, and some of the guys from Caleb's gym are texting him while we are calling the fights, while we are distracted with Terrence Bud Crawford being across from us. It was crazy, but I said, heck yeah, man, I would definitely love to make it happen, and I'm so glad we did. Tucker's a great guy. This is a fun conversation, if not anything else. Check it out right now. Tucker Charron joins me on Caught on the Mic today. As always, listener and viewer discretion is advised. Ladies and gentlemen, you know I'm a fan of the fight game. I'm such a big fan that for the last 3 events that Dynasty Combat Sports has had, I have been calling the fights cage side, including the last fight of my next guest, 135-pounder Tucker Charron. He fights out of Premier Combat Center in Omaha, Nebraska. His next fight is March 14th. 2025 for St. Patty's Showdown at the Astro Amphitheater in Omaha. Tucker, how the hell are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good, man. Are you excited for this fight or what?
Oh yeah, always. I'm always excited to show off what skills I've improved and how much I've gotten better, even just in life, not just in fighting wise, like just talking to people and being a genuine person.
I love that, man. I love that. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to kind of give your own introduction, introduce yourself a little bit, and let's talk about your genesis and you jumping into MMA. How did you get started, man?
One of my friends actually used to train at Premier. He got his blue belt under one of their older jiu-jitsu coaches. And then right out of high school, I was supposed to go into the Marines, but I couldn't because I'm allergic to peanuts. So they basically just said no. And I just went into Premier and started training, and I was like, this is pretty fun. This is what I think I want to do. I was an athlete my whole life, played basically every single sport, and then kind of just fell in love with MMA. And then, met some people, met Mason Dykes. He's also fighting on the same card as me. He just talking to him about it and stuff, and like he helped sway me, like, and believe that I could actually do this, fight in the UFC, be one of the best guys in the world.
I love that. So are you originally from Omaha?
Technically I'm from Valley, just outside of Omaha, but yeah, I grew up in Omaha my whole life. I went to DC West out in Valley for a little bit, and then I transferred into Omaha and went to OPS, and then I went to Elkhorn, and I bounced around a lot.
I get that, man. So what have you found has been the most fulfilling so far in your mixed martial arts journey or your Brazilian jiu-jitsu journey?
The fighting is definitely fun and cool, like getting a knockout in front of a bunch of people, but like honestly, just even helping coach. I help coach at Premier and with our foundations MMA and boxing classes a lot, and like helping it transform people's lives. And like it's really life-changing to like see somebody like gain the confidence through just coming to a boxing class, that I'm there like just trying to fight and stuff, but like they're there to actually change their lives.
Well, that's a good jump off point. Like when you consider the scope of your life, you're still a young guy, but how has MMA and martial arts in general changed your life?
Oh, I definitely think it helped. I wasn't really big on school or I mean, didn't really have anything. I couldn't go into the Marines because I'm allergic to peanut butter and didn't have anything I could really go into and like focus my energy. So like right out of high school, I was kind of just, I mean, I drank and partied and did all that in high school. And I mean, started drinking when I was younger. And even though you're not supposed to technically,
Right.
but yeah. And then experienced all that from like a bit younger age and then just kind of grew out of it even by the time I was like 18 or 19. I was like, oh, well, I'm drinking, can't even legally drink yet, and I don't want to, really anymore.
I find that's kind of an anomalous thing that happens with a lot of people is if they experiment with stuff as young teenagers, like it either becomes a problem or when they're of age, they just kind of eventually drift away from it and are turned off by it. Do you feel that getting into MMA and fighting kind of distracted you from a different path in life or a more negative path, if you will?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was always like in high school, I was the dude that threw parties at his house and always had people over and stuff like that. And then like even like right when I was about to turn 21 or stuff like that, I had a fake ID, so I'd go to the bars and go and do whatever really and just get into trouble or like go and almost get into fights, and I didn't even know how to fight really. Before I went to Premier, I didn't even know how to make a fist. Like I didn't know you were supposed to ball your hand up into a fist and punch somebody in the face. Like,
And now you're teaching boxing fundamentals. Look at
yeah,
you.
I know. But
That's growth, man. That's growth for sure. So there are a lot of high caliber folks affiliated with the MMA world that teach and train out of Premier Combat Center, and particularly Ryan Jensen, Derek Minner. What have you learned from some of those guys?
I mean, mainly like it's just showing up every day. Like it doesn't matter how strong you are, how fast you are, what else, like how athletic you are, and like just show up to the gym every single day if you want to get better. Train whenever you can. That's what I try to live by. I get up, I take care of my daughter. I'm blessed to just be able to take care of her and train basically all day. And it's a whole lifestyle. You gotta, if you want to actually be in the fight game and live this and do it, like it's not for funsies. It's not for like say you get nothing out of it and like it's hard. It's not for everyone for sure, but you just got to show up every day.
You know, Caleb and I, when we were sitting cage side at the last event, you were messaging him and he was like, "Hey, Tucker wants to do the podcast." I'm like, "Let me send him a video. I'm going to talk some shit." But Caleb and I were talking about it, and we were talking about why I have a lot of fighters on my show, not just because I'm a MMA fan, but as a fan, I like to break down or break away from stereotypes. Is that something that you've experienced as a fighter versus your everyday life, is kind of breaking that fourth wall between what people assume and what the reality of it is? Because you talked about having to just dedicate yourself to it and just show up.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's definitely a double-edged sword. Like if you're trying to be a fighter and fight all the time, like you kind of have to like be a more hardened person. You can't like, I mean, you're going in there and you're trying to like hurt somebody, really hurt somebody and like potentially, I mean, like take years off of their life when you're going in and trying to fight somebody. Like it's not for the weak, but then also like I'm one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And, outside of the cage is what, like, even when I first started training and sparring and stuff like that, like, I was too nice to like training partners and I would get beat up a lot because of it. And because I don't want to like hit this dude, like this is my buddy.
Right.
But
I've had this conversation with a lot of people, including guys that are currently in the UFC, about what you leave in that cage and how maybe that actually does lend to you being a more well-balanced person and a kinder person in your everyday life, because you are able to get that animosity out whenever you're training, or that animosity out whenever you're actually fighting in the cage. Do you find that to be a reality for you?
Yeah. I mean, even when it's like even if I have like a shorter fight, like a couple of my fights have been 40 seconds, or like even my last fight was only 1 round, and I'm going in there like I got 3 minute, like three rounds, three 3 minute rounds, and I'm going in there expecting to having to do 9 minutes of hard, like actually fighting someone, and it's even like, oh well, like I didn't even get really hit, or like didn't get, like actually into a fight. Like it feels like sometimes, and like it's hard because you psych yourself up so much, and then like you have all that like stored like anger and controlled rage and stuff like that. That it's like, well, I didn't even get to do anything with that. I have to suppress that again now for till I get a fight again, March 14th.
Right. So have you ever faced an opponent that you have legitimate beef with, or has there ever become legitimate beef post fight with anybody?
Uh, no, I wouldn't say so. I'm usually pretty tame, and I mean, we're gonna fight anyway, no matter what you say to me, or and nothing. You got to see me in the cage in the next coming days, So even if the dude's talking a bunch of trash or whatever, like, cool, well, I'll let you talk. You'll see me, and we'll have to fight eventually.
So let's talk about this next fight in particular. He's a Skywalker 101 guy, Leighton Tuma. What do you know about him, and what have you studied about him in preparation for this fight?
Uh, I've watched. He has 2 fights. He's a wrestler. I mean, he's gonna try to wrestle me. I don't think he's gonna want to strike with me. I'm too dangerous on the feet. He's not gonna want to get hit. I hit too hard. I'm too fast, too clean, too good. He,
Love it. I love that confidence, man. You got to have that, right?
yeah, kind of a chip on your shoulder. Is definitely like playing it up too much. I feel like some people can be just a dick, basically. But
Right.
like, I mean, you gotta like in my mind, I think I'm one of the best. I mean, best bantamweight in Nebraska, and I'm one of the best coming up guys, and gonna be in the United States and the world here soon.
Sweet, man. So let's look to that future. What are some of your ambitions moving forward, and how do you see your fight career progressing over the course of the next year, or over the course of the next 5 years?
Uh, by the end of this year, I probably want to go fight pro, like maybe in December is what I'm looking at. But I would like to get like another couple amateur fights, and go fight after I win the belt in Dynasty. Go fight in like some other promotions for some other amateur belts and other high ranking amateurs and stuff like that, just to get a little more experience. But then, yeah, by the end of this year, go pro, and then next year, I mean, 5 fights a year is the goal usually. Don't get hurt and get first round knockouts, right?
That's right. That's right. So, are there particular people that you like to share the card with, or certain venues you like more than others in your experience with Dynasty?
Yeah, I mean, it's always super cool fighting with teammates and stuff and guys I'm close with. Honestly, I get more nervous watching like them fight than for my
Right.
actual fight, even though that
Right.
doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But the Astro is pretty cool. I like fighting at the Liberty First Credit Union arena. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Like it's a whole arena, even though it's not sold out yet or anything. But hopefully we can change that with these next couple dynasty fights.
Yeah. Have you fought at Pinnacle Bank?
Yeah, I fought Hunter Green down there one time. That was pretty cool too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I enjoy that venue. Actually, I enjoy all the venues. Not the Dynasty, the Astro was a really unique experience at last time, because this is your second appearance and Dynasty's second appearance at the Astro. What did you like about it? And you don't need to trash it, but what didn't you like about it?
It was cool, like fighting up on the stage with all the lights, like kind of pointing down on us, and like, I mean, normally I can't see outside the cage or anything.
Sure.
Like, it's all black for me, but like, especially this time, you couldn't see anything outside the cage or anything. Like, cage side, really, like, you guys weren't that far away from us, and I couldn't even like see you or
Wow.
anything really, because all the lights are just shining down on us. So that's
Right.
super cool.
Because it's like stage lighting as opposed to arena lighting.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
just some of the seating, like off on the side, you can't really see a whole lot. Up top
Right.
and stuff like that is,
I
but
will tell you, like Caleb and I took a walk all the way up to the top balcony, and it was dope looking down at the cage. It's like, holy shit. Most fights, you want to be as close as possible. But
yeah,
this was one of those rare experiences. The Astro was one of those rare experiences where some of the best seats were actually the higher you got, because you had a direct vantage point down to the cage itself.
yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. That's where we would be going in and out up top, so to watch all of our teammates fight, because we had like, I think last time we fought there, we had 9 guys from Premier fighting or something like that, or 7, or
Yeah,
a
well,
bunch of us.
it's funny you say that, because I was looking at the poster for this one for the March 14th card, and I'm like, there's a lot of similar fighters that were on the last Astro bill. So you and Mason Dykes are both on this card, and you both were on the last one as well.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite teammates to fight with.
Right.
That's my brother. We train together every day, and
Love that.
yeah.
Love that, man. Love that. So you have any other teammates on the card?
I think Zayden is fighting. Maybe he's a 135er. He had the first round knockout and guillotine at the Astro last time, and then I'm pretty he fought at the Astro too,
Yeah.
heavyweight.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure
Ever
they're
was
fighting.
he was really impressive that last one.
Yeah, he worked 10 hours before that too.
No shit.
Yeah, he worked the whole day.
Oh my
Crazy.
God. That's masochistic, bro. It's funny stuff. So let's kind of talk about your life outside of fighting just a little bit. What are some of your other interests? Like, what else lights your fire in the real world?
Uh, I mean, just family and friends is really big to me. Like, I mean, like I said, I have my about to be 2-year-old daughter, Rosalie. She's my world. She's everything. It's crazy. Me and my girlfriend, we did a home birth actually, and
Oh, wow.
so yeah, it was just us. I mean, fucking delivered a baby. That was wild. That's something I'll remember everything about that until I die. It was
Oh,
crazy.
absolutely. Absolutely, man. I tell you, and not to go too deep into it, but that time was going to fly by so fast. So, advice from your friend Mike that you didn't ask for is like, suck up every single moment that you can, because it goes quick. And I'm sure these first 2 years already have for you.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like I'm about to be 25 with a 2-year-old and that I take to the gym with me every day. He just runs around and copies me basically. He starts punching and kicking the bags and doing takedowns and everything. It's pretty cool.
Well, I'll tell you, like, everybody talks about the terrible twos, but I think threes are worse. So you're in for it, bro.
Oh yeah, especially since he's gonna know how to fight. Not excited.
So, I mean, it's kind of a long ways off, but is that something you see for her at some point in time? Like, whenever she's like 5 or 6, do you put her in jujitsu classes or what?
Oh yeah, I would definitely like for her to train at least, and like, I mean, I wouldn't wanna wish a life of fighting upon her, but if it's
Right.
what she wants to do, like, that's what she wants to do. But,
Right.
no, I definitely feel like she should. I mean, I feel like everybody should train MMA, and you should be able to defend yourself if something happens, and, like, even if you are like, have a concealed carry or a knife or something on you, like, what happens if it doesn't work, Like,
Right.
you still gotta be able to defend yourself, or at least be in good enough shape to run away or do something.
And even aside from that, there's the discipline factor too. Just having that personal discipline and learning that at some point in life, how to balance everyday responsibilities and what have you.
Yeah, it's just I mean, that's like what I was saying earlier, how Jensen, Derek, what they just preach is showing up every day and doing what you're supposed to do. Show up, do your boxing class, do your MMA, do your jiu-jitsu, do your wrestling, and then mix it all up.
So is it your aspirations to end up in one of the big fight organizations?
Yeah, I'm gonna be in the UFC. I'm gonna be a UFC champion one day. One of the best dudes in the world. I can see it. I know who I want to train with and like where I want to go and train. I would love to train or fight in one championship, and I guess Bellator's not a thing anymore, but like PFL and
PFL, yeah.
yeah, I would travel the world and train and
Yeah.
fight, and is all I want to do.
So who is somebody that you would like to train with if given the opportunity?
I know up at Elevation, Corey Sandhagen's up there, and we've had a
Mm-hmm.
couple guys from Premier go and train there, like Ryan Laniger, and there's a couple other guys. John Kuhneman's up there now, training with Gaethje and Kamaru Usman and stuff, and I would love to go up there for sure, especially
Yeah.
training at Elevation and stuff. That'd be so cool.
Yeah. My buddy Cody Donovan, he owns High Altitude Martial Arts, and that's where most of them are training, and that's where that team was based out of. So, but yeah, it's a fantastic facility, and it's crazy, man. I've gone there on a Thursday afternoon and watched sparring, and your head turns so much because it's a who's who of the UFC when you're sitting in the room, and they're just, it's Thursday afternoon sparring. So like I'm sitting on a bench with Gaethje, and he's hacking on Curtis Blades, just knocking on Curtis, and Miranda Maverick's across the room, and JJ Aldrich is across the room, and it is crazy. It is insane in Colorado. Would you like to experience training in that actual atmosphere, the elevation part of it?
Oh yeah, I think that would be super cool. I have some family that's out in Denver and Colorado and stuff, so we usually used to take a trip out there. And I like after I started training and fighting and stuff, I would like love going out there and like auto on runs and stuff. And I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
dying right now, and I'm in good shape.
Yeah, well, that's what my buddy Zach says. Zach Pounga, who used to be in the UFC, he was on Ultimate Fighter a couple seasons ago. Um, he said he would go. He trains in Colorado, lives in Colorado, Colorado lifer, been there his whole life. But he would go to some place like San Diego to fight, and he would feel superhuman just
Oh yeah,
because his cardio was so much better because he was constantly training in elevation. So it's a crazy thing, man. Crazy thing.
yeah, that's definitely something I've looked into, and even after a little bit after I've turned pro, I would even be trying to move up to Colorado or even down to Phoenix where Sean O'Malley's at.
Yeah.
Because our old jujitsu coach Atalo, he opened up a gym. It's like literally on the same street as Sean O'Malley's gym.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing. So let's kind of look through the windshield and not rear view mirrors for a few moments. 2 years from now, manifest it. Where are you going to be? Who are you going to be training with? Who's going to be cornering you? Lay it all out in the line right here.
no, I mean, 2 years from now, like it would be about to be 2026, right? 2027 coming up on it, and then yeah, I feel like I'd be either training Colorado or I'd even go to Thailand to train. Like I'm not too set on a gym or anything like that, but I mean by that time I'm expecting myself to be 5, 6, maybe 7-0 as a pro. Couple knockouts just on the doorstep of the UFC. Hopefully about to get that call, or I'll just go fight one championship or PFL and like go win their belt, and then hopefully come in the UFC and like fight one of the top guys, how like Justin Gaethje did or like a Michael Chandler did or something like that. Like I don't have to fight all the way up through the UFC. Those dudes are killers. Yeah, give me a top 5 guy right away.
Well, man, my closing question for everybody is, and I love the variety of answers that I get, is what's your advice for making the world a better place tomorrow than what it is today based on your life experience?
I would say even just try to improve yourself. lift up somebody around you, be a light, really. That's all I'm really trying to do with MMA. I want people to look at my story, and I mean, I don't really have a whole lot here. I got family, but like we're not super well off or anything like that, but I'm gonna change my circumstances through hard work and dedication and self-belief. That's all you really need.
Absolutely, man. Work ethic wins every single time. It always does. It truly does. And you can move mountains with it. You just got to be willing to put your head down, do the work, and just ignore the bullshit and try and be exactly that. Like you said, be that light, be that positive influence for other people, be that influence you needed when you were younger. Tucker, man, thanks for doing the show, man. I'm glad we finally got to connect.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was fun.
Oh, absolutely, man. Glad to call you a friend now. The world is a much better place with you in it, my friend.
Thank you. Take care.